YouTube? Welcome back to the On the Edge channel. We do apologize for the delay in the content. We've had a lot going on in life. My son was sick the past couple weeks, so I couldn't get any uploads in. I've been trying to take care of him. And for those of y'all that have seen the logo and y'all know who this is sitting next to me on my left, this is my boy Turtle. Finally got him to show up. Work schedules didn't align, and he's been on quarantine for 2 weeks because his roommates got COVID for some stupid shit for other people. But here it is. We're back live with the On the Edge, and this will be our first official sports talk with Turtle in the building. So today's first topic of conversation will be the Blake Griffin trade. Well, not trade, excuse me. The buyout from the Pistons onto the Nets. But before we get into all that, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Links will be down below for our Twitters, the On the Edge Twitter. And for those of y'all that have been waiting on it, the podcast trailer is officially live. I will leave all the links down to the podcast trailer below. Let's go ahead and lock in. So what you think, man? Because the world knows they can see it from you now. You're a Lakers fan, so this was obviously a move to get it. So what you think, man?
So I wore this jersey for a reason. Let's go ahead and get that. I think this is huge for the Nets. I was one of the main guys saying they have a 7-man rotation. This gives them a solid 8-man rotation. 9 when Spencer comes back, of course, next year. For me, I'm looking at it, I see another playmaker. I don't see another big, but Steve Nash has already said, he's cool with running KD at the 5. So if you got KD at the 5, you say bench lineup, you run Jeff Green at the 5. They haven't announced if Blake starts, if he does or he doesn't.
I think he'll come off the bench.
So then at that point, you're rolling with a small ball at 5. I'm wearing this jersey. As you know, this guy likes to play the 4. So then if I'm looking at them matching up with us, you're looking at Blake Blake going against Markieff, Blake going against Trez, and then, of course, Blake against Marc Gasol.
I mean, it's a fair matchup. I mean, small ball, in terms of small ball, I don't see KD staying at the 5. I think Blake will be the small ball 5. Joe Harris and Jeff Green will be the switchable pieces that I see. But if it's me coming down the clutch, I'm not going to put Jeff Green on the floor. I'm going to put Joe Harris on the floor. Dude's an absolute sniper from the line.
So you're running the 3 All-Stars, Joe Harris, and
Blake Griffin, easy.
So Blake Griffin the 5. So then do you allow... Obviously, everyone's seen the Nets play the Lakers a couple weeks ago without this guy. So do you think they switch everything the same way and they maintain the same thing, or do they allow AD to go one-on-one with him?
That's not going to happen.
Because Lakers down the stretch, they always, majority of the time, Frank's been running no Montrez, no Mark, and AD is a small ball center.
So, I mean, the way I see it is, it's kind of like the conversation. I don't know if people have seen it or not. I mean, I'm going to actually pause this and pull it up. It was the Shaq and Candace Parker conversation about switching in pick and roll.
Love Shaq, man, but God, did Candace make him look like 4 other.
Yeah, because you can't, in today's NBA, you can't afford that. Like, you literally have to switch everything. And for those of y'all that didn't see it, this is the segment right here when it pops up.
And if you're not switching, the post players have to get up the screen so they can recover back quicker to their man.
Right.
You're right.
You're higher up,
At the
get
point
back
of
quick.
attack.
Are we ever gonna go back to where we man up and pre-rotate and
No.
show and get back?
It's not the game today.
So, manning up. If they don't switch everything, and LeBron loves to run the pick and roll when he sees a mismatch on the floor, no matter who's on the other end of it.
Absolutely.
So if they're leaving AD down there on the block alone, that's where I think you're going to see one of those, not even necessarily pick and rolls. They throw it down to AD, let him go crazy, and you get to see his sham god dribbles, pull-ups.
Because, I mean, it's just like Candace is saying right here. You have to switch. Shaq, I get it. Back in the day, you could play man-to-man defense because everybody's going to play in the post and things like that. But nowadays, when you play in a 5-out and you got a person like Steph that can pull from 35 foot, you have to switch. You can't sit in the paint and play man-to-man because your man's up here going to screen Steph. You going to leave your man up here to die on the screen. You can't have that.
Well, for the people that haven't seen this video, it actually ends with Dwayne Wade saying, Shaq, we didn't get better until you started to come up on the screens.
Absolutely.
So Shaq brought up an argument that he wasn't ready to put this in.
I agree. I mean, I love Shaq to death, but Shaq is just, it's kind of like the old players. Like, I hate the cross-generational talk about, oh, LeBron and Jordan would dominate these eras. We're not here for that. What ifs would be wonderful if we could have them. It's not going to happen.
Speaking of what ifs, I saw this tweet and it said, if you put LeBron on that team with Steph and Clay, do they win more or less than 2 rings?
Oh, by a far. They might not lose a chip. And I mean that in the sincerest way because KD gave them something that they didn't have and another elite scorer, to go alongside Steph so you could take the pressure off of Steph. But I brought this up the other day. I was talking to my boy, and I don't mean this in any disrespect to LeBron, but if you look at the role that Draymond Green plays with Steph now, Draymond gets you those 7, 8, 9, 10 plus assists a game. If you put LeBron James in that role instead of Draymond, you're going to get those assists and you're going to get the points. You're going to get the 25 a game from LeBron, and you're going to get damn near, if not exceeding double-digit assists with Klay Thompson on the floor. You can't beat that. And we're going to look at it here when we cover the All-Star recap, but they had too much fun on the court together. I mean, you got the world's best shooter to ever touch the basketball, and you've got one of the greatest eyes to ever dribble, assist, facilitate an offense to touch the NBA court. It would be unfair.
Hashtag just 2 kids from Akron.
And then when you add Klay to that mix, you can't double LeBron, you can't double Steph, and you won't even think about double teaming Klay because Klay is a spot up, run off a screen type of guy. You get the right pieces to go around that, it's a flood every night.
Mm.
So, with that being said, I'll leave it at that with the Blake Griffin era. I'll be interested to see if they make this move to acquire Andre Drummond that's been floating around. We don't know. I don't know what's the full scope of that, but I'll be interested to see where Andre Drummond goes. I would personally like to see him in either one of the LAs or maybe even down in Golden State because I think he could be a good piece for Golden State, just like DeMarcus Cousins would be. But we'll see where these mixes and matches go. We've got a couple deadline deals I think that'll get done, but we'll see.
I'd like to see him in Miami. I think that'd be solid.
I would too, if it wasn't for the fact that the Nets are going to guarantee themselves an Eastern Conference title win, pretty much. Barring any injuries and all of that, there's not a team in the East that can beat that team, bro. Giannis, you're going to see the same thing in the playoffs until you can shoot. There's going to be a wall in front of you. It's going to happen. Sixers, I love you to death. Joel Embiid is probably the front runner at MVP right now, but it's not going to happen. I mean, even in the one deadline scenario that I would like to see, the JJ Redick trade, I still don't see it happening. It's just going to be next back to Philly.
Yeah.
But even though the rumor is he might float around to the Nets, and I'm just kind of figuring out what are the Nets going to give up for value.
I can't remember the guy's name. Light-skinned dude. He dropped 5 threes against us. Ty something.
I know you're talking about. I just don't see it, man. But
yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at with the Blake Griffin pickup for one. I just feel like the Nets are just adding too many playmakers. I don't see. I mean, obviously, besides the 3 guys, I don't see Joe Harris and Ty, whatever his name was. I don't see them lighting any team up in a 7-game series, 5 threes a game.
I won't say that about Joe Harris. I mean, he did lead the league in 3-point. Wow, Steph was out last year, so I'm not gonna take it away from him because especially with those when you have that 3-headed monster on the court of KD, Kyrie, and Harden, you can't double anybody. And as soon as you even think about James Harden coming down the lane, somebody's going to come help. Mm-hmm. So when you have to pick your poison of who you're going to leave open, 9 times out of 10, most people are probably going to leave Joe Harris open. Even though he's probably the better shooter out of the group by percentage-wise. But
well, that's what the Lakers did with, I think, no Dennis, no AD, and they lit us up. I think they might have hit like 15 threes.
Nah, man, we're not going to talk about that game. Get well, AD. The league needs it.
Brown Friends fantasy team needs it too.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm moving on to the All-Star game. Wasn't really a fan of the whole one-night concept, even though it kind of gets your attention all in on one night because you cut out the celebrity game, you cut out the Rising Stars game. I think it wasn't as bad as what some people thought it was. I just think that the game wasn't as competitive just for the simple fact that guys actually wanted to rest. People didn't even want the All-Star game, but
I think LeBron played like 12 minutes.
13 to be exact.
So my thing is, I understand the respect for Kobe. Kobe's my favorite player, but the 24-point total at the end of the third quarter for the final score, the target score, I'm not a fan of it. And in the quarters one, I wasn't a fan of that either.
I mean, I like it for charity purposes, and I think last year was an even better representation of what the All-Star game could truly be when people want to take the All-Star game serious. You know, like, this year I just think they took plays off. They just wanted to get the dunks in so they could get their money for charities and things of that nature. I didn't think they really took it too competitive. I think everybody really just wanted to laugh and have a good time. I didn't think it came down to the competitive that it was last year. And, I mean, you can see it. Like, these guys are tired. Like, LeBron had played 13 minutes in an All-Star game.
Well, LeBron nor Giannis wanted to do it. They won.
I know. But Giannis went out and put on the show. 16 and 16, 35, MVP. Poor Zion. You got to stop missing dunks when the stage gets this way.
I wish you would have dunked that.
Should have, but he took off so far that he couldn't gather.
I laughed at that play in real life. It was like LeBron sitting there like, Joker, they said you're the best passing big man. You just missed me on the fast break.
Well, like, that. There's nothing you can do about that. I know it's the All-Star game, but damn, don't leave Steph wide open, bro. Like,
He like had to remind you guys. He's like, it's like y'all just didn't see me win the 3-point contest, just flicking it up. Like,
no, him and Mike Conley had a good battle. I didn't think Mike Conley would have shot that well. Like, look at this, bro. Like, I know this is an All-Star game, and we brought this point up earlier, but just look at that. You couldn't put these two on the floor together, and that's exactly why, even though that's an assisted pass for LeBron, look at where Curry's shooting the ball from. You're going to have to step up on the pick and roll here. Like, look at this. Vucevic played underneath. That's how you get cooked by a kid like Curry. Greatest shooter ever. You can't play under a screen like that.
James Harden overperceives a lot, even though obviously like this is just an All-Star game. This is all offense. Majority of the time, these guys aren't trying on defense. But
I thought Bradley Beal was going to do something better than that when I was watching it in IRL. I really wish he would have.
those Celtics, man, looking at Jaylen Brown, what do the Celtics have to do? Like,
He-
Kemba's not doing anything for them. Daniel Theis isn't the big man they need. Tristan Thompson should be getting more of those reps.
I thought Tristan Thompson would have made a better impact. I would have also liked to kind of seen Blake go to the Celtics because I felt like he would have fit with them well. If they can somehow pull off an Andre Drummond deal, it would help them tremendously because they could use his rim presence and his rebounding. Because they lack that kind of, in my opinion. Like Daniel is fine, but like he doesn't compare to what you could get with a DeMarcus Cousins or an Andre Drummond. Like the Celtics, I mean, to me, in my opinion, Brad Stevens, you have to go on the hot seat after this year. You've been there a couple seasons to now, and you've had your chances to get deeper into the playoffs, make finals. You have that young core. They are starting to gel better, in my opinion, now this season, but you have to put that together better. Like, if you have to deadline Kemba. That's just ridiculous, bro. No player in history can do this, bro. Outside of Dame. And Dame, I don't think Dame can shoot it as well from deep, but he has the ability to do it. Sniper, bro. But back to the Celtics, if I'm them, I'm making a potential deadline deal for Kemba. I don't know who they would acquire for Kemba, but I would try to deal Kemba, get a younger point guard, let Kemba go somewhere else.
I saw they're shopping for Nikola. So I feel like Kemba, you can allow Kemba to get out of a slump, but that Daniel Theis,
You can.
Robert Williams III. Robert Williams III is a good man, but like he should not be your second leading minute getter in your front court. Like I just don't
I feel it.
think
I mean,
can
at
happen.
this point, I would also like to see them just go ahead and I know Taco is a raw talent, but just cut him loose.
I mean, that's the thing. What the Lakers do with Alex Caruso? Like, same thing. D-League, two-way contract kind of guy. Lonzo gets hurt. Caruso comes up. He gets minutes. And people can say what they want about him. Dude's not the best player, but you saw what he did in the playoffs last year.
Right
You
on
see the
cue.
hustle he brings to the court. You see what he does for the team.
Right on cue about Dame and Steph. Dame came down, pulled those 2 shots, and Steph said, "Nah, I can't be left out of the half-court contest."
My favorites at the end of the game. Dame's dribbling up, and Steph is holding up the 3, and he's waving. Game's over.
I mean,
Dame's about to drill us.
we already know the business, bro. But just in simple terms, though, I mean, I would love to see teams make a couple moves. I mean, I think the West is going to come out a little bit more competitive the
I
second
think the
half.
Nuggets make a move. I think they can definitely do something.
Yeah, I feel like the Nuggets and the Celtics are in the same position with Bol and Taco Fall. You got them both. You have great talents. You've seen, and I'm more on the Bol upside than I am on the Taco upside because I've seen Bol do more than Taco. Taco is just pure out more raw than Bol. But to me, the Nuggets are stockpiling all of that, and I think they're going to make a move with Bol at the deadline. They're not playing him. It's kind of like a waste of talent, in my opinion, just to have him sitting there. Like, he's a 7-footer that can do everything. Like, he's a groove away from being the next generational star.
Not really. Was kind of upset that Ben nor Joel played in this game because Ben's made his strong case for defensive player of the year, and everyone says
Ben
no
is the
one
front.
plays defense in an All-Star game. No one does. I personally would have loved to see him in this game just to see if he did bring that intensity.
So, from my understanding, I believe it was Joel Embiid didn't play for contact tracing.
Both of them. It was a barber in Philly.
Yep. So, I mean, I get why they can't play in the game. I mean, they probably don't care. I mean, for both of them, it's both of them to be healthy. Poor Don Mitch, you launched that and you still lost a quarter by 1. But just in that aspect, I mean, Ben right now is my defensive player of the year. Rudy Gobert's right behind him. AD, when AD's not hurt, is a top 3 candidate as well. So, I mean, that's kind of where it is. I mean,
Rudy lost 10 points from me whenever Joel dogged him for 49-19 the other day, and he had 10 and 8.
hey man,
Don't get me wrong, Rudy had to go against Zion and Joel in back-to-back games. He's probably tired, but you can't let this guy come out here and do that to you.
that's wild. I don't know if y'all watched that or if we can see it that fast, but he did the same thing in 3-point contest. Bro shoots the ball so efficient that the ball goes straight up and straight through the net. Like, the net didn't move. Like, how do you shoot that well?
That dude's having a career year.
Absolutely. I mean, if his team was better, Steph would probably get another MVP. If his team was tops in the West again, he would get an MVP. And it would be... You kind of couldn't argue it because he's won MVP with the same stats already.
Well, in the beginning of the year, everyone was saying, Luka MVP. And it really came down to Luka and Steph were averaging the same thing. I think the Warriors were like 6 and 8 at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
And everyone was trashing the Warriors. And it's because Steph gets the same criticism LeBron gets. If you're not first, you're last. Doesn't matter how good you're doing. Doesn't matter who's on your team. You're supposed to make everyone around you better.
Absolutely.
So when AD went out,
Where's the...
people shat on the Lakers because the Lakers went on a four-game losing streak or so when they flat out just didn't have the personnel. They were calling Wesley Matthews or Markieff Morris off the bench. Those guys got 5 did not play coaches' decisions back to back, and then, hey, come out and play against Utah. Come out and play against the Nets.
Absolutely.
And perform.
Absolutely.
And so, that's where people are taking LeBron out of the MVP conversation, but it's like you got to look at what he's done without AD.
You know what? And I'm going to go off topic just because I got this in the background. I don't think people understand exactly how hard of a dunk this actually was. To jump off the same leg that you threw the oop underneath, that's underrated. Like, that's hell of hang time. Like, I feel like they robbed him of that. He probably should have got 47, 48 for it. I wouldn't have gave him a 50. But to leap like that off of your foot and to throw the ball back under the same leg that you jumped off is, like, tremendous. Like, that's just outstanding athleticism. I wished Obi would have saved this dunk for the end because Obi was my pick to win the slam dunk contest. Shout out to Obi. He's probably my favorite rookie this year. I know everybody loves LaMelo. I'm not going to hop on the bandwagon for that. I liked Obi for his time at Dayton. He's my style of player. He should have saved that for the end.
Knicks just still have too many damn forwards for him to Get in rotation. Knicks are doing great this year. I love it.
I don't understand why the Knicks drafted him.
Too many forwards.
I don't. I was hoping that the Knicks would have passed him up, and maybe that he could have fell to Phoenix, because I would have loved to seen him with that young running gun team. You know, my boy Chris Paul would have thrown plenty of lobs. So I mean, shout out to all the guys that compete in the dunk contest. I mean, you have to try to find anything original to do because everything's been done. I don't know how we're gonna keep evolving the dunk contest at this point. I mean, my opinion was to go get the professional dunkers that do it, like your Jay Clark, the jumpers, your Jordan Kilgannons of the world. Let them put on the halftime show, you know. But it's the NBA. They're gonna let these guys do it. Let them put on the show. But it would be neat to see like a celebrity, a celebrity dunk contest, in my opinion. Or like even a celebrity 3-point shootout. Like
I saw Lethal Shooter said those some guys that came with the 3-point contest.
They don't want to see Lethal Shooter. They don't want to see Lethal in the 3. Bro is a walking bucket, man. I like the homage that he paid here. I like that T-Mac jersey though. That I gotta add one of those in my collection, but it's got to be the VC. I like that.
Well, that's where I feel like last year's contest was. Donovan threw on the Vince.
Yeah.
So it's really about the fit necessarily, not the dunk anymore.
No, I mean the fit's cool, but to look at the 360 that he did it the opposite direction that he's supposed to go. So I mean, I'm not critiquing anybody. I'm not gonna say his dunk is weak, but he paid homage to T-Mac. I'm not upset about it. I mean, great dunk. I felt like he could have probably got a little more of extension, but he did what he had to do. I don't think they should have rated him a 49. I would have probably given it like a 46, 47.
Where the hell did Josh Smith come from? Like, where has he been?
Josh Smith was last in the big 3, bro.
Yeah.
With everybody else. But, I mean, you know, ghost of NBA's past. Josh Smith was a great high flyer from the Hawks back in the day. That would have got him a higher score if he didn't have to push off. But it was wonderful. I mean, good windmill. Way to get up. But the push off is what hurt you. Like, even when they said that last year, when Buddy pushed off of Taco Falls, like, nah, bro, he's 7'6", bro. Like, I don't care if he pushed off him or not. Like,
well, that's the same thing.
He really about cleared him without even really touching him.
That's the same thing with Edwards this year. I can't remember a guy on the Raptors. He's calling, push off. I mean, it's wrong place, wrong time.
I mean, it happens. I felt like this East Bay is what really lost Obi the dunk contest on it. Like, out of all the dunks you could have did, Obi, I don't think the East Bay was the right call here. Most athletic people of your stature, of your level of that leaping, can do an East Bay with no problem. That's why I didn't have a problem. Like, you got distance on that, but an East Bay isn't gonna win you the slam dunk contest. Like, you cleared that with so much ease. Like, look at where you were hanging from. Like, you could have did something else that would have won you the dunk contest, in my opinion. I'm not criticizing him like that, saying that the dunk was really trash. I felt like he could have gotten something better for what he did. Especially in the final round of a dunk contest, you got to pull out your stops, bro. Like, you got to do what you got to do. Like, even this dunk, like, it was... Like, they literally gave him that because he kissed the rim, and I felt like that wasn't deserving of a 50. Like, I understand that he jumps incredibly high and he was hanging, but it was literally the fact that he kissed the rim that got him a 50. Like, it's just a regular dunk. Like, there wasn't really that much power to it.
Dudes do that in warm-up dunks.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't even fully kiss the rim, and they gave him a 50 for this.
It was COVID, you know, they can't help.
I know he can't kiss the rim because of COVID, but like, I felt like that wasn't deserving of a 50. That's just my personal opinion. I would have made them probably go to a dunk off. Like, go pull out your best stops, shut it down at the rest of the halftime, put on a show for the people. Like,
Yeah.
That's what it is, but that's pretty much it for this episode right here, folks. I hope everybody enjoyed the content. Again, we appreciate. Drop a like, comment down below what y'all want to see next. We'll be back again next Tuesday with the content. But yeah, just drop your comments down below if there's anything that you feel like we didn't cover that you would want us to cover. Any sports outside of basketball that you want us to cover, let us know. I'll be back covering more of the NFL once we start to heat up more in that department. But it's March. It's March Madness. It's NBA time, so it's going to be a lot more basketball talk. We'll talk a little bit of baseball. I'm not the biggest baseball fan, but I do enjoy the sport, so we'll talk more about that as that gets going. But that's it from us, man. Peace.
864 was poppin'.